Do you want to understand how to manifest more money? Well, it starts with you understanding how the energy of money is actually connected to your parents. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the things of basic that you need to know around manifesting and creating that you can use to attract more money in your life and why it's connected to your parents. I also heard you guys loud and clear. You would like more videos around this because we know the banks are broke. We know that we are going into a new way of being, and you would like to make sure you don't have fear during the transition. So click the like, subscribe, and share, and the notification so you can see more of this series, which I'm going to pump out for you on a more regular basis because I heard it, and that's what's really important for you guys, that I'm here for you. So I'm Tracy L. For those of you I haven't met, I'm an energy healer and an intuitive guide. Been in this space for a long time, but I was my own test subject over 22 years ago. I woke up. We were all kind of where we were little. If you want to know more about my story, you can. You can read the book, God, Where Are You? It's Me. I talk about what's happened, how I got to where I am today, and how I restored my whole body physically after I was told by the experts, not possible. So for a lot of you, you're probably like, I'm having fears, or you might feel like there's a cycle that's been plaguing you. Like, why am I always poor? Why do I make money and I lose money? One of the biggest things that people forget is it really does stem from what you saw when you were a child. And people forget this. And what did you pick up? I know for me, I'll give you an example. I was always worried about money. I was worried about money 24/7 growing up. Why? Because when we were kicked out of our house at midnight, my mom and I, and my sister, we ended up in a crisis center. We were in a shelter, like a women's shelter. Then we were in welfare housing. And my mom was always super worried and stressed, worried. She's actually still to this day. She's always worried about money, even though she has overflow. So I picked that up. So I would worry nonstop, even though I could always create it. There were different things to learn that I had to learn around it. You know, we all had lessons to learn for sure. I would have great ways of creating it and then give it away. And my mom would more hold on, right? So when you've had that kind of stress, and from her parents, right, with their trauma and what happened with them and the depression and stuff, there was this real hoarding energy, but that there would never be enough. So what happens is when you start to have any sort of fear around money, or fear around change of money or loss of money, it kicks in a survival mechanism. So if you look at your parents, even very wealthy people can have big fears around money because there's something back there that was a survival mechanism. So it's how we survive, because we use money, right? So when you look at both your parents, it's really important. You will resonate with one parent more than the other parent. So you can say, I don't know why I'm not good with money. My dad's great at making money, but maybe, you picked up, like me, you picked up more of your mom's paradigm. So that imprints onto you, and then you start to play it out. And what you want to start to do is look at all of these issues, because it can also, maybe you spend too much, or you don't know how to save, or maybe you don't know how to have conversations with your brokers or have this relationship with your money. So when you start to look at it, if there's any fear around change or transition with your money, what you want to do is actually go back and say, which parent did I notice had a difficult time with money? Perhaps they never handled the money. Perhaps they never, had a relationship with money. So if you see a parent that doesn't have a relationship with money, or maybe a parent's like, money doesn't grow on trees, and what are you doing? And you need to work hard. So if parents say this to you, right? You need to work really hard. Then you feel like, oh my God, I need to work. Like, what do you want to be? You're going to be a bum. How are you going to pay for your bills? Like, all of this chatter, you listen and you take it subconsciously. And then what it does is it activates that energy in your subconscious and your blueprint. So you have a blueprint that you've come here to learn things, right? And in the financial house, you've come here to learn to let it go. You come here to learn how to manage with it, to use it as a tool. You're not taking it with you. We're not even taking this meat suit with us, right? We're not taking any of it. How can we use that as a tool and become at peace of where we are? But see, the programming that has been through your parents and your grandparents and great-great-grandparents, because this has been going on for 2,000 years, that's passed down, right? Is maybe there was war and it was taken away and they were destitute. Well, that energy can be like printed down, and it can skip generations. So you can actually have a fairly good paradigm with your mom and dad. Maybe you grew up in a more middle class or upper class or whatever, right? We've got classes. That's a whole other video, and what it does to you and how you're labeled, right? So those energies are huge. And what happens is you form this alliance with your family. So what happened to me was at a very young age, in my late 20s, I sold a big company in Canada to one of Canada's largely traded public companies. And my family would walk around going, must be nice, must be nice, must be nice. I've worked my ass off, must be nice. I felt so guilty that when I got divorced, I found creative ways to give the money away. Oh, I'll make it again. Look at me, Miss Martyr. And then they're like, why'd you give your money away? So I couldn't really win on either one, right? Again, I didn't want to leave my family paradigm. I didn't want to seem better than them. I didn't want to not have a family, because then what, right? Even though we know that our families are here to teach us to kind of, sometimes we do have to say goodbye or take a step back so we can heal and figure out who are we without all their noise in our face. So when it comes to finances, a lot of times it's their projection, like must be nice, and then there can be guilt. And all it is they're jealous or they're envious, and they don't want you to really move and change. They say they love you, but if they loved you, they'd be going, good job, well done. And you wouldn't be feeling like, oh my gosh, right? So when it comes to your parents, it's really important to understand what part of that dynamic growing up did you take on. Then there's a way of releasing it and letting it go, because you really got to get it out of the subconscious. It has to leave the physical, the mental, the emotional, the psychological, the psychic realms. Like all of these realms are always talking. And that's why you can say, I thought I dealt with that. And it comes back up because you will be tested by spirit. Did you really get the lesson? Did you really let it go? So when you go back into your family, like I know for me, like if I had something nice, I wouldn't take it home, or I would hide it because I didn't want to hear it. And I was like, okay, see you later. Now I live very far from my family, but it's not that I don't love them. You can feel under the judgment. Well, I do what I want to do and spend my money the way I want to. I invest my money. I should be able to do what I want to. That's how you need to have that attitude, right? That's that way that you really, really want. Charlie's like yapping with the kitties down there. So when you look at what is the paradigm, which one are you playing out? Are you afraid to leave your family? So what's the fear if you break away from the energy of what you grew up in? So sometimes you can break away and you can do so much better. I know, happened to me. But what I had to come to conclusion with is not care, and to start to move that energy out, because I would find lots of creative ways. I'd want to help people, and, oh, okay, I don't want you to feel poor. And then people are like, why are you always paying for things? I was like, well, because I want to make sure you're okay, and I can. And, but then it meant I had to work twice as hard. And then people would take advantage of me, right? You've been through there. You've probably been through that. And you're like, you got to stop. You got to take care of you. Let them take care of them, help when you want to help, so it's reciprocal. So your parents have a huge role in playing why you might feel poverty or lack. And then also, if you've heard your parents say a lot of things like, I can't afford that, or no, we can't afford that, that energy actually sits very deep in the subconscious. And then you will look at things you do desire, and it'll always be out of reach. It'll be like, oh, it's playing in the back of the programming. So when you start to release that programming out, you can move it through, you can let it go, and then all of a sudden you'll find that things are showing up better, and you're managing your money and you're attracting it, because you have to become very neutral in your field to attract more money. Okay, I'm going to keep doing videos on this all around money. If there's something you want to know, comment below. It always helps us so we can create more. I appreciate you, and thank you for all the people who, do the buy the coffee. It means a lot. It really does. I know the first time that happened, I actually cried. I was like, oh my God, thank you. Like we're working here, and there's a lot out there, right? So we want to be there for you. So click the like, subscribe, and the share. If you want to join me, you can in March 19th for a one-day whole Zoom around money, but we're going to move it. We're going to shift it. We're going to get it out and get you ready, because we know the banks, right? The banks are broke. So you got to be prepared. You should be prepared now. We've done a lot of classes on that, but we'll talk more about that. But you don't want to have fear. If you don't have fear, you're going to get through this with no problem. If you have fear, in your system, you're going to attract more of that. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. All right. Have a great day, guys. Again, comment below, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you again on the next one around manifesting and creating your money. Lots of love, guys.